Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here with another quick update on the status of Robert Sylvester Kelly requesting that Steve Greenberg and Mike Leonard be removed from his case as the lead attorneys. And I told you guys that whenever any information comes out, I'll be doing these little brief updates for you. So Jason Mesner of the Chicago Tribune is reporting that a federal judge in New York has scheduled a rare hearing for indicted R&B superstar R. Kelly into whether the attorneys he has elected to defend him at his upcoming racketeering trial have conflicts of interest. U.S. District Judge Ann Donnelly scheduled the hearing for Thursday after Kelly's two Chicago-based attorneys abruptly withdrew from the case 2 months before the blockbuster trial was set to begin in Brooklyn. At a hearing held by telephone earlier this week, Kelly told the judge he wished to terminate attorneys Steve Greenberg and Michael Leonard, and I will post the link above so that you can get my update and more information on that hearing that took place. But the information has since arisen concerning the backgrounds of Farinella and Becker that has prompted Donnelly to schedule what's known as a Curcio Hearing, where relevant facts are presented to a defendant about an attorney's potential conflicts of interest so an informed decision can be made about representation. The judge's order posted Friday afternoon indicated that the hearing will be held in her courtroom, though there was no mention of having Kelly transferred there. Whatever and prompted the hearing are unclear, as filings have been kept under seal. Greenberg and Leonard had previously said they had concerns about the backgrounds of both Farinella and Becker, neither of whom has ever tried a federal criminal case. Records show that Farinella, who previously worked as a bankruptcy attorney, had his law license suspended more than a decade ago after he was alleged to have made improper charges to a client's credit card and neglected numerous client matters. At the time, Farinella argued to stay the proceedings due to a mental infirmity that made it impossible to defend himself against the accusations. Farinella's psychiatrist testified that Farinella shuts down during stressful situations. He is not able to adequately contribute to his defense or other legal processes, according to a 2011 ruling by the New York Supreme Court. Farinella and Becker could not immediately be reached for comment. So this hearing that Judge Donnelly has scheduled is called a Curcio Hearing, and it gets that name from a case that took place, I believe it was in the early 80s, and it was where two brothers were on trial and they were being represented by the same attorney. And the courts decided that because there were differences in the charges against the brothers and a superseding indictment was coming down the wire, that it would be a conflict of interest for this attorney, and his last name was Zeldez. So for Mr. Zeldez to represent both of the brothers, and so they held these separate hearings with each of the brothers to find out, what they thought about their representation, if they wanted to continue, using the Zeldez guy. And I believe it started out that he wouldn't be able to represent both of the brothers, but by the time it got to the final decision, he was not allowed to represent either one of the brothers because they determined that he had information, during the time that he was representing both of them, he had information on both of them regarding the charges against them. So it was a further conflict of interest that he knew things about the one brother whose name was Gus, and then he also knew different information about the other brother. I was going to read this to you guys, but it was very, very long, so I'm trying to give you the summary of exactly what was going on. So the brothers' names were Francis Curcio and Gus Curcio, and they had like different charges against them, and then one of the brothers was going to have the superseding indictment where he was going to be charged with something different. And this attorney knew too much about both of the brothers and what their defense was going to be. And so in the end, the judge determined that he could not represent either one of the brothers. And as this article stated from the Mesner guy, Jason Mesner, is that now I'm assuming that Steve Greenberg has filed his response to the hearing from earlier this week, and whatever was contained in that hearing, or in that motion, we won't hear about because it obviously included some personal information that might be HIPAA related. We get this brief explanation in this article, but there's probably more details that's included in his actual filing. And so now the thing has gotten bigger than it should be, and these attorneys are going back and forth. And I am thinking that perhaps Judge Donnelly at this point, since Mr. Kelly states that he doesn't want Greenberg or Leonard any longer on his case, she can't really overlook that and say, well, you have to take them. I mean, technically she could, but we would hope that she wouldn't if he is against this. And so she may kick them all off the case, and then he either has to find other counsel or he has to go with a public defender. And public defenders are, always a bad thing. Some of them do win their cases and they go on, to become judges. Okay, I know of a situation where that happened. Okay, where they had this big case, got the person off, and now they are on the District Court of Appeals in this state of Florida. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this turns out. And I know there's some speculation that there are some other attorneys that are supposed to be joining the case, and that this is all a scheme to delay the process until these attorneys can actually file their paperwork to be on the case. Not sure how true that is, but Greenberg for some reason doesn't want to be on the case, but at the same time is all over social media dragging R. Kelly, dragging the other attorneys as though he does want to be on the case. So I really don't know exactly what his end game is, what it is that he's looking for, he's looking to do. It's like, does Mr. Kelly owe him some money and he's trying to sabotage the case? It just seems really crazy that he is fighting this hard, pretending that he really does care, about Mr. Kelly and is acting in his best interest when his behavior is showing anything but that. And so I was going to read some of these tweets that he has put out, over the past couple of days. Like on June 7th, he wrote, sometimes people just won't listen and there is nothing you can do. He also wrote, sometimes you can't save someone from themselves no matter how hard you try. Then he wrote on June 4th, they are trying so hard to get #R. Kelly that they are using a 60-year-old law that has never been used before against anyone. And, although he posted that, he didn't say what the law was, and we haven't seen any motion to suppress whatever the charge is. So not sure where he's coming from with that. And he replied to YouTube bloggers, Dr. Rice, and I believe it was Texas Ballot Diamond. They had made a post about, what all is going on. And he replied, Greenberg did not get to pick 2 of 4. I think they had said something about, well, you were the one that picked all these attorneys and now you're complaining. And his response was, Greenberg did not get to pick 2 of 4. I picked an experienced lawyer with the best record in federal court. Here, I am second. I prefer lawyers who know what they are doing and that I can trust. And then on June 9th, he wrote, Farinella did the bond appeal, not me. Sherlock replying to someone, because you guys know that the Thomas Farinella guy was the person that was on the team that did the appeal to the Second Circuit. And I even commented that, oh my God, he sounded horrible. He was very nervous. He was stuttering. But I've come across a whole bunch of appeals videos, where he has, done appeal hearings, and they were recorded and then posted to YouTube. And I haven't gone, to check his record to see how many of those that he won. But in any event, this is just a mess, and this is just the latest of what's going on. Just to reiterate, Judge Donnelly has called what is called a Curcio hearing, and this is basically where the courts is now going to decide if the attorneys on record for the defendant are capable of properly representing the defendant, or if they need to be removed from the case and new attorneys or either a public defender comes in. And, once again, speculation is that this is all a setup to get whoever these new attorneys are time to get it together, get their paperwork filed, and get up to speed. And once again, the judge has, emphatically said she is not delaying this hearing. She doesn't care what these attorneys are up to, that this hearing is starting on August 9th. So guys, that's it for me. Once again, as this information comes out, I'll be bringing you these little short videos to keep you up to speed on what's going on. So go ahead, leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.